like a broken record, talking about SCHD or kind of addressing, no offense, but these kind of very general questions. And I've covered it in other videos, but, real briefly, this guy said, SCHD, why is it down? Anytime you've got an ETF like SCHD that is truly just a basket of stocks, with similar weightings, don't ask the question, SCHD, why is it down? Go in to Schwab's website, go to their fact sheet or their holdings and see, okay, why are these holdings in SCHD down? But, a lot of people, especially in recent years, and I've been doing this for 6 years now, people put on this hat of like, I'm a dividend investor. SCHD is all knowing. SCHD is like, the dividend investor's dream. Okay, guys, I get it. It's got a low expense ratio. It uses, fundamental screeners, but it is not some end all be all. That is just the entire game of dividend investing. You definitely do not need, you don't need to be paying any sort of expense ratio. If you want to do this dividend investing game, like I said, in my own personal philosophy, I pick stocks and I build out those positions when I see they're undervalued. I target quality companies with wide moats. We'll get a lot more into it on the channel, but I'm just going to sprinkle stuff, I guess, along the way as it pertains to different types of videos. Moving on. And then, okay, another thing real quick on this, and can kind of get lumped in with the same boat as the previous question. SCHD projected dividend growth rate. Guys, please understand SCHD's, dividend increases or track record of dividend increases or 5-year compound annual growth rate of the dividend. This is not, a discretionary thing at Schwab that they're doing, that they're selecting what the dividend's going to be next year. Okay, this is actually just, okay, what are their holdings in their basket of stocks? And then what portion of that dividend is Schwab returning to SCHD shareholders? So as their, 104 holdings, as those holdings increase their dividend, which, they most likely should continue to do, then over time, Schwab is going to increase the dividend at SCHD. Okay, so this is not something, you could not even have an answer to this question without actually analyzing, all the underlying holdings, kind of taking a weighted average and really making a best guess. Okay, this is not like, this is not a dividend stock. We need to get that notion out of our head. Again, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse on some of these. SCHD I've touched on, JEPI I've touched on, but I want to get on here and speak truth. If I say something is my own opinion, then I'm gonna include a disclaimer. Okay, guys, again, I'm not a genius. All right, I'm a dividend investor who has a passion for this game, but I don't know where that tangent was going. Let's move on. Okay. This one rubbed me the wrong way a little bit because I also feel like Altria, which is, the leading cigarette seller, I guess, in the United States. And they say Altria until when? And again, I'm going to kind of answer this to the best of my ability, but they're asking this because, smoking is becoming something of the past. I do think that's a bold claim because although we have seen, cigarette volume declining, I guess, year after year, what do we see happening to Altria's top line? What do we see happening? It's increasing. And the reason why that's possible is because, a company with a product that's this addictive, they have pricing power. Okay. They can they can outperform inflation. Okay. They have essentially a monopoly on the cigarette market, or, not quite a monopoly, but basically a monopoly on the US cigarette market. And they can continue to generate that top line, even if, cigarettes, like actual cigarettes, are becoming a little like less popular, or, they're not part of this generation. I can tell you right now, guys, I am a college student at IU Bloomington, and I see plenty of college students smoking cigarettes. So I don't want to say rest assured to that, because that feels a little messed up. But, also let's take a step back here from the whole cigarette thing. Nicotine as a whole is a very, addictive substance, obviously. And Altria is obviously going to be the one that's selling those other products. They're pouring resources into their smoke-free segments, or, e-cigarette segments. They've got segments. They can sell nicotine products to people in the US. And I know this is long-winded, but for me, I'm in Altria. I'm in it. I mean, we'll see what happens. I guess I could look like a fool if nicotine is banned in the US, next year, but I sleep fine at night owning this one. Let's move on. And if you want to see all my holdings in my portfolio, I have released a video about that. 2 options. What do I do with the money I have saved? Okay, financial advice. Greetings all, yada, yada, yada. I was planning to invest in market indexes, prioritizing safe growth and dividend, VOO. And then he contacted a company that invests people's money through lending. All I know is they're willing to offer me 9% on a yearly return. I don't know this full story. I really don't know this guy's full story, or what type of relationship he has with said company. But I wanted to connect this back to the reason why I love my style of dividend investing so much. Okay. And that is because it's me. Okay. That sounds a little selfish. It's me. I'm picking stocks. I'm responsible for building out the positions. I'm responsible for, conviction. I'm not putting my hard-earned dollars, with some company. And, even on a more, I guess, molecular level, I'm not even buying ETFs. I'm not making some, asset manager rich at some other company. We talked about JEPI, and I know a lot of you guys get on here and talk about it's a super low expense ratio for, the distribution yield trailing 12 months. Okay. I think the expense ratio on JEPI is 60 basis points, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm like, what's 60 basis points, on $27 billion in inflows in the past, whatever. Probably now it's probably 30 billion. So what's 60 basis points of $30 billion annually? I don't know. Okay. I mean, how many zeros are we doing here? Let's see. Is that 30 billion? It's a little late, guys. I'm tired. But what's 60 basis points on $30 billion? That's $180 million in collected fees. I mean, this is all, these are approximations because it's their AUM, at the time of the fee. This isn't kind of another tangent, but I like dividend investing because I am only truly doing it for myself. I'm not having to trust someone else. I mean, obviously my broker, I use TD Ameritrade, and I have a Schwab account too for trading purposes, but like there's no real middleman here. I'm not really dripping money into someone else's pockets or some other company's pockets. I hope this isn't getting long-winded, but it appears it is. Let's move on. Best finance YouTube channels, guys. I'm going to say this from, a completely unbiased opinion. Cash Flow Cart. here we are. If you guys are new to my channel, I make content and I release it on Mondays and Thursdays. The content is always going to be, related to the topic of dividend investing, whether it's, an individual stock fundamental and technical analysis. It's an ETF I'm talking about, or it's a video like this where I'm giving my thoughts more on, kind of broader ideas and maybe sharing some examples. Whatever, you guys get it. If you want to subscribe, thank you so much. If not, that's okay too. Thank you guys for tuning in and have a great rest of your day.